You know, that's just social media. One of the days may be the downfall of society, but no. But I shouldn't say that. No.
Hey, at least he's blaming social media and
Absolutely.
not the Red and Blue Review, but that's probably coming by the end of the year. Welcome, it's Gupper and the gang getting ready to talk football and basketball. Say hello to Daryl Bird of the Cat's Paws, who will be spending the last part of this month in the beautiful state of Connecticut. Nice trip.
Thank you. Never been to New England. Looking forward to it. And this is my point where I'm supposed to make fun of U of L, but I'm not sure I want to, because I may turn an ankle if I do, or I may, who knows, I'll be out for weeks if I even mention the word Louisville. And besides, I got to go play Call of Duty. I got to get out of here.
And on this side of the deal is Howie Lindsay of the Louisville Sports Report. Always kind words toward Kentucky.
Absolutely. We're coming off that beautiful win over Vandy. Wait.
They didn't
beat Vandy. No, but it's definitely basketball season for the Cats, and they did have a good win the other night. But tell you what, a whole lot of mean mugging and three in the eye kind of stuff. I don't know if that's going to sit real well with the fan base.
I'm wearing my 3 goggles as we get into the lightning round. Who's Hot on the Lightning Round, brought to you by Kentucky Corner. Locations all across the Commonwealth, a couple right there in Lexington. Great time to get the Christmas shopping as we head into Black Saturday here pretty soon. Black Friday, Black Tuesday, it's all going to be money making at this point out. Kentucky Corner online, a great way to shop for your UK sports gear. Well, who's hot for the University of Kentucky is that win against Kansas at Madison Square Garden. It looked bad early on. The first couple minutes, it looked like perhaps the Jayhawks were going to roll the Cats right out of New York City, but then in the second half, the Cats trucked Kansas.
If they'll listen, this team is going to be terrific. Right now, we're what I'm thinking. We get selfish, we make heroes plays, but I'll tell you, we got some shot blockers. Anthony Davis did some great things. Terrence did some great things. We made shots we needed to make, so I'm just happy we won now, but I'll watch the tape and I'll be mad.
I absolutely love how naive the young guys are, because we talked to them after the season over against Marist about playing at the Garden. It's like, oh, we've been in big venues before. This is just another game. We played the United Center. We played McDonald's All-America. I'm like, gosh, you don't have a clue. It's Kansas in the Garden on national TV. And they came out looking just like that, so tight. And it's like they completely forgot everything that they had been taught to this point, because they had to go make it happen themselves. Marcus Teague is the one that was most fascinating, and he's the most fascinating one to me to watch the rest of the year, because his body language was just awful. I got the impression that's the first time he's ever played in a game where things didn't go the way he wanted and his coach yelled at him. That was the impression I got. It's like, what do you mean this isn't working? He's just got to grow up, and it's right, that's part of it. They're so young, and this is what you got. Fortunately for them, they had the athleticism and the ability in the second half to really turn it on and put that game away.
Who's hot at the University of Louisville are all the talk about injuries. In fact, Howie pulled a hamstring climbing into his chair just a couple of minutes ago. It's tough if you're wearing red these days. Peyton Siva, the latest go down. He's going to miss this weekend's game against Butler with an ankle sprain. And Mike Mara, he went down for the season after a knee injury against Lamar.
Yeah, I mean, I felt it right away. I mean, as soon as I planted and turned, it felt like the bone came right out of the socket and then snapped right back in. So I felt that immediately and just fell.
I mean, it's nothing that we do that ever creates any of these injuries. I mean, it's unlike.
That is the hottest topic in all of Louisville, is what is causing these injuries. And, you know, my take on it is, I don't think it's explainable, but I don't blame fans for trying to figure something out. I mean, at this point, you've got to start looking for answers somewhere. I personally attribute it to bad luck. I don't think that there's any greater plan going on here, but you know, I don't blame people for thinking, well, you know, is it the different shoes? Is it their socks? Is it they don't wear ankle braces? Is it they don't? Because there's just been so many different injuries. I think the trouble with it is that there are so many different injuries. You've got concussions, you've got knee injuries, you've got ankle injuries. They're just all over the map. If they're all knee injuries, we'd say, all right, that's what it is. It's knee injuries. We got to do this, this, and this. But it's not. It's everywhere, and it's getting ridiculous.
Only Wiley the Coyote has more bad luck than the Louisville basketball team. Well, what's not hot at the University of Kentucky is the fact that they lack speed. You know, they say that speed kills, and the lack of speed in football will get you killed, and that's really what's going on with Kentucky this year. Joker says one of the reasons why they haven't had big plays this year is because they don't have players on the team fast enough to make those big plays.
Well, we definitely don't have the speed that we had the last couple of years to stretch the field. The thing that we are lacking a guy to throw screen to, throw a 5-yard play to, and he turns it into a 50-yard play. You know, that's what we're lacking. You know, our screen game's been big for us over the years, and that's an easy throw for a young quarterback. It's an easy throw for an old quarterback, but it's a play that gives your team confidence when you can throw a screen, which is behind the line of scrimmage, to a player, and he can turn it into a 40, 50-yard play. And we just don't have that ability right now.
That's a pretty good example of even just little short pass attempts, quarterback to the running back in the backfield to Koshik Wheelan. It's not going anywhere against Vanderbilt, and just did not turn out well at all. And there was one guy who caught a screen pass for 70 yards. That was against Louisville. That was Josh Clemens. He, of course, is out with a knee injury. The other guy they really thought was going to be able to do it was Darryl Collins. He hurt his knee in fall camp, never even made it to the field. DeMarco Robinson's another name. He's a quick guy. He's the one they tried earlier in the year on some of those silly reverses that went absolutely nowhere. So he's right. That is a huge component, has always been a huge component of UK offense. When Raphael Little was sitting back there, like a Derek Locke was sitting back there that really had breakaway speed, and it's just not there. And I go back all the way back to the summertime. I remember talking to Joker for our football yearbook, and he said, we don't have any home run hitters on campus. We think there's some coming. We have singles hitters. We don't have any home run hitters. Right now they don't even have singles hitters. Sacrifice fly guys right now. It's bad.
What's not hot for the University of Louisville is the fake juice that we've heard a lot about during this football season. In fact, Brandon Dunn says that he knew the Cards were not ready to take on Pitt last weekend because when he looked around, he saw nothing but fake juice flowing out of his teammates.
At the end of the day, didn't nobody say nothing. Didn't nobody come up to the front, say anything. Everybody kind of played shadow, kept their mouth shut, and just basically letting it happen. Me, myself, you know, I didn't know what to say.
Just the whole approach is different for young people. You know, now it's all playful and it's all giggles. You know, they want to mess around now, but it's the whole approach is like that.
Yeah, I love that Charlie Strong quote. They all want to be playful. They all want to have giggles. That's one of the funniest quotes ever. You know, here's the thing.
Slumber party.
It's slumber party. Yeah. Pillow fights, all that kind of thing. Charlie Strong is not a pillow fight kind of guy. I don't know if you've noticed. But he wants them serious. He wants them serious out there in pregame warm-ups. This past game, he pulled them off the field. Didn't work. I think he'd try that again, though, if he sees them out there giggling and jumping around and all that kind of thing. We're having a Photoshop contest on our website on CardinalSports.com for someone to make the product Fake Juice. And the slogan is, easy to spot, hard to shake. So if you can participate in this Photoshop contest, we want to make the product Fake Juice. I think it's been a tremendous soundbite for Charlie Strong.
Nothing fake about the buzz at Kentucky. It's Anthony Davis. The freshman is a freak with the ability that he brings to the basketball court, and as good as he has shown that he has been already, Cal says he can be even better if he accepts coaching.
I just want him to keep getting better. I mean, the film session we had Saturday, I was all over him. I mean, all over him. And he's looking at me like, 23, 12, and 5 blocks, and I really had 7 blocks. Dwayne missed 2. What do you, and I'm like, I'm not worried about Marist. I'm worried about North Carolina. I'm worried about Kansas. I'm worried about Louisville. You can't play that way and us win. He was like, you know, got to play more physical. He's got to bend over. He can't stand straight up and down. He's got to stay in a stance. He's got to stunt more. He can't stand around. Yeah, everyone, you know, you dunk a ball and then run down. You got to play the entire possession, and when you show them on tape, you stopped right there. Look at you standing up and down. And yeah, it's okay in that game, but it's not okay the next game.
It's always fascinating. This is the 3rd year we've been through this. You have these high school phenoms who can do that because they're just naturally gifted, and you have to teach them the discipline to play hard all 40 minutes. You can't take plays off because you've always been able to get away with that. And he runs the floor so well. He's so talented. And Cal's going to keep leaning on him, and that was a really good idea, and he's done it before. The guy goes off for 23 and 12 against Morehouse or Marist, and he's feeling good about himself. And what's the coach do? Tear you right down the first time you have a chance. You've got to break them down to make them get even better, make them keep getting better. And, yeah, this dude is going to be so good by the end of the year when he learns to play hard every single possession.
While those highlights were on, Howie curled up in the fetal position was sucking his thumb. He is scared to death of this game coming up on New Year's Eve.
I'm just glad that Calipari knows that Louisville exists now. He actually mentioned them on camera. I thought he forgot that we existed.
Hey, one of the most, I won't say it's bizarre, I think it's one of the most refreshing sound bites I've heard from a coach when he talks about what caused them to not be ready to play or to win, was Charlie Strong talking about the release of the video last week of Call of Duty. He said his players were so distracted by this video game coming out, Call of Duty, that the players forgot to do their duty against Pitt.
And there's a new video game that came out, and those guys are so, I said, how can you allow a video game to take control of what you have in your hand and what's ahead of you? And so if this video game is that important, then we'll see how important it is on Saturday. And I said, you know what's going to happen, guys? In probably a week or so from now, you're going to be throwing that video game away.
Well, they're definitely throwing the video game away now, Coach. Thanks. And now they're going to feel guilty every time they play it. But I think, you know, what's funny to me is that this is Charlie Strong motivating his team. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Don't read any more into it. He saw the tweets the previous week about them, you know, who beat who in Call of Duty, who beat, you know, who killed who in Call of Duty. It's a first-person shooter kind of game, and he used that to his advantage. And he rung a lot of bells when he said it. I think there are a lot of players angry that, you know, Coach just called me out. Well, they're going to show it this weekend, I think, because Coach just called you out for something that, you know, legitimately you were doing. And I think there are a lot of players who play it reasonably, but I do think there are quite a few that, you know, stay up 12 hours, 14 hours, and it's easy to do because it's a great game.
One of the questions we asked you about this week on our Facebook fan poll, Red and Blue Review, is now that Mike Krzyzewski has overtaken Bob Knight as the winningest basketball coach in men's college hoops history, who do you like less? Krzyzewski, whose teams have been Kentucky killers through the years, and of course Bob Knight, whose teams have, especially the last few years, does not have a lot of success to show against Kentucky. And guys, here's what we found out. 85% of the Louisville fans don't like Bob Knight. 66% of the Kentucky fans don't like him. They sort of like Mike Krzyzewski.
Oh, that's terrible.
I think it's awful.
That's terrible. I don't like either one of them.
Yeah.
But Bob Knight gets extra points for me for the whole pompousness and all that kind of thing. Yeah. But my dislike is more towards Mike Krzyzewski because of so many people praising him about doing things the right way and all this kind of mess. Do they not remember like Myron Piggy and the whole job scandals thing? I mean, has anybody ever sat next to him during a game? He's got an awful mouth. He's just filthy. And, you know, the other thing is, he's only got 903 wins, which is, for an immortal, that's not a whole lot. I mean, he's been coaching all the way since the Transylvania days, way back when, and you know, but you'd think he'd have at least 1,500, 1,600 wins by now.
Kentucky dominated Knight his last few years. Why do they?
Because we keep seeing the replays of the Duke game, the late shot.
Yes.
UK fans remember the '98 game when they were down by 16 with 9 minutes to go, came back and stuck it to Krzyzewski on the way to the national title. So that's like, okay, we're even. They hate Bob Knight. You got to remember, Bob Knight is obnoxious, not just to UK fans, but he has been on the warpath against Calipari and how he recruits and how his players and how his program is. That's where the anger is over Bob Knight.
We're going to give away some tickets. We've been talking about it all fall. We partnered with our friends at Allstate Ford to give you tickets, first of all, to the Louisville-Syracuse football game, and now we've got a couple of tickets we're giving away for the game coming up, which will be UK's bowl game, UK versus Tennessee, and I think this is going to be the time that Kentucky beats Tennessee. Okay, maybe not. but if it happens, Mike Moore from Bullitt County is going to go thanks to Allstate Ford. Howie says there's no chance. Thanks to Allstate Ford and Red and Blue Review. Well, the South Carolina football fans want to buy Joker Phillips lunch. We'll tell you how Joker could qualify for that after Daryl tells us about the Kentucky basketball yearbook. No, the website, right?
No, the yearbook.
Yearbook, okay.
I do appreciate it, sir. I mean, you go to both. That's fine with me, but the basketball yearbook, it's a great holiday gift. It's interesting. We have 2 sales periods with our basketball yearbook. When it comes out immediately, there's a big rush, and then there's another rush at Christmas time. People want to give it to their parents or their friends because it's going to be a very nice keepsake. And we actually have people out there who have turned these into collectibles. They call us, I'm missing issue number 21 or something like that. So it's pretty cool. A lot of great feature stories that have nothing to do with whether the season started or not. A lot of personal profiles in there. You can find it at shopcatspaws.com.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, stop by Allstate Ford and test drive a new Edge or Explorer. Or visit us online at allstatetrucks.com. Allstate Ford, on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
I'm attorney Jay Winton, the Louisville Fighter. When you get hurt in a car wreck, you need someone to fight the insurance company for you. Call me. I'll come out swinging.
The Louisville Fighter fights for your medical bills, fights for your lost wages, and he fights to get you paid.
You get hurt in a car wreck, you call the Louisville Fighter. He fights for your money. He fights to win.
Call the Louisville Fighter. He comes out swinging.
Listen, if you've been hurt in a car wreck, let me fight for you. Call me. It's just that easy.
Call the Louisville Fighter. Call 1-888-FIGHT-16.
I'm Teresa Bachman with the exciting new force in the midsize car market. The new Passat has arrived at Bachman Volkswagen. It's a new force in safety, premium features, and fuel economy, and it's exclusively for everyone at Bachman Volkswagen. The redesigned Passat is premium without a premium price. They're in stock at Bachman Volkswagen, your #1 Volkswagen dealer. The force is strong with this one.
Bachman makes a difference.
Kentucky Corner is giving UK fans a new cheer this season.
Pink!
Think Power Pink when you dress Big Blue this season. Kentucky Corner is the only place to find hot new colors and styles the Big Blue Nation craves.
Polka dot!
Kentucky Corner is in Louisville, Lexington, Ashland, Florence, E-Town, Clarksville, Paducah, and with Kentucky Corner online, there's a Kentucky Corner on your corner.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Allstate Ford, 7-time recipient of Ford Motor Company's President's Award for Customer Satisfaction, with 13 Ford certified service technicians and a best-in-class parts department. Business or personal, we are the truck experts. Allstate Ford, on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
What Makes a Champion, brought to you by the home of the champ, the Ali Center. And Jenny Conkey says one of the champ's core values is his conviction.
He is called the greatest, and Muhammad Ali has said that if he told people that enough, the world would start to believe it, and it worked. Muhammad Ali, whether he won or lost, he had an internal strength, a deep conviction to believe in himself. What makes a champion? Conviction.
A champion never mails it in, which is why Charlie Strong is always so concerned when he looks around and sees fake juice.
Once you got fake juice, you can't get away from it. If you're not ready, like Coach Hurst said, if you're not ready to play the game 15 minutes before the game, you're not going to be ready to play the game at all. I mean, a good example is, you know what I'm saying, when he called us up while we were stretching to send us in, I guess he's seen something in us that he's seen the Marshall week. They said we had fake juice, and he seen it, and he called it in. He called us in to see if we can get rid of that. And
it was not hard to spot. I mean, he called in the special teams up for the final thing right before they go into the locker room, and only 9 guys showed up. You're like, where's the other 2? Of course you're not ready to play.
Playing the video game.
Not even all of them showed up. So yeah, not hard to spot fake juice.
We got a lot to talk about. Football weekend, basketball weekend coming up right now on our Game Time Storyline.
Although I did get a text also from somebody from South Carolina. I don't know who it is. It was 803 number. I guess it's South Carolina, right? Dinner anywhere in the world if we beat Georgia. So yeah, got to start picking out some places for me. Just.
Joker credit for keeping his sense of humor. Obviously, if UK can knock off Georgia, South Carolina's back into the SEC East picture. That's what that's coming from. And Joker had fun with it. Sadly, to show how cantankerous it is around UK parts, it took about 10 minutes for someone on our message board to say, "I'll buy you lunch anywhere in the world if you will resign today." Oh. That's tough.
Hey, let's talk about one of the other topics on our Game Time Storyline, talking a little basketball here. We've already mentioned Anthony Davis. Davis is not that typical enforcer you'd expect from a guy who's 6'10", but in order for him to play that role, Cal says other guys on the team have to play the other role.
He's a lot like Marcus Camby. Maybe shoots it a little bit better, but the same physique, the same, if you expect him to be Shaq, you're kidding yourself. He's never going to be Shaq. But I made a statement to my team yesterday that we're not here to compete with each other. You push each other, you challenge each other, you compete with the opponent. What you do is complete each other, not compete with each other, complete. So in other words, he does what he does. Somebody else better be tough and strong and bend over and push people, because the rest of you ain't dunking like him and blocking shots like him. And this guy does that. He's our point. You better play point and do your job. Play to your strengths.
It's interesting. He's not, and it came up early in the Kansas game. Who's going to play? Who's going to be the big rugged guy in the post? It probably have to be Terrence Jones, because that was an obvious glaring weakness early. Robinson from Kansas had a huge open to his game because nobody was inside to bang with him and really hold him. Now I think they're going to have enough athleticism that they can do what he just did right there. Davis did was to recover and reject the shot, and they'll be a high flying. They've got to push this tempo even faster than what they are. They don't want to get stuck in a half court bang bang game with someone like a Big Ten team you think would do.
Ever since the day Mike Krzyzewski created basketball, coaches have been wondering how powerful it could be if they could actually get inside the heads of college athletes. Well, now they can by setting up a Twitter account.
You know what happens a lot of times, what guys don't realize on their Twitter, and Rocco sees mine, but on the Twitter, you know a lot what's going on with these guys. They don't even realize that, because they know when they're tweeting, I lock in, you can read anything they're saying, and so they're all talking about the video game. So, I mean, that's what I said to them. I can find out anything I want to about you guys. All I had to do was go to my Twitter page.
Facebook and Twitter breaking up more marriages worldwide than anything ever. It also is terrible for college students. If I were a coach, and I'm all for openness and we want to talk to them and all this media stuff and all that kind of thing, I tell you, shoes on the other foot if I were a coach. I would shut down Twitter, I would shut down Facebook, because it is open access to all these different athletes, from fans, from boosters, from all kinds of different people, outside influences and that kind of thing. No way I would want that kind of influence on my team. It's an absolute mess. And, he's right. Anything a kid's thinking, they just post on Twitter. Man, I would get in so much trouble if I had that in college, because I thought some stupid stuff. And if I had a way to get it out to the world, oh boy.
That's why we created the Red and Blue Review, because we know he's going to say something stupid, which is sort of my job here too. Hey, when we come back on the Red and Blue Review, college football is apparently a whole lot harder than it looks. We'll talk about that when we come back, but as we head to the break, Howie's going to tell us about CardinalSports.com.
You got it, the best place to get all your news and notes and recruiting stuff and videos and all that kind of thing. Log on to CardinalSports.com. We, of course, have the news about Siva being injured. I've got all kinds of different news and notes. We actually live chat during away games, so be sure to log on there. Free live chat during away games with me, with other folks with CardinalSports.com, with all of your fellow fans. Check it out, CardinalSports.com.
What needs fixing on the Red and Blue Review? Brought to you by Doug Jones Home Improvements.
What needs fixing in Kentucky football is that modest tradition of winning that Rich Brooks resurrected at Kentucky, and Joker is allowed to wither on the vine, because Joker will tell you getting to a bowl game is harder than it sounds.
Everybody needs to understand the struggle it took to get to 5 straight bowl games. And it was a struggle. There's no doubt about that. And we got to get our kids to understand how tough that struggle was. We're not where we used to be in the last couple of years, you know, but we're striving to get back to that level.
I will give him that it is tough because you do play in the SEC. However, the formula has been very clear. You win your 4 non-conference games, you win 2 out of 8 SEC games, and you don't let Vanderbilt do what he just did and carry your entire team into the end zone. I mean, come on, guys. You can't beat Vandy and Ole Miss every year. Give me a break. I'm not buying that part of how tough it is to get to 6-6.
Oh, it's hard. We can't go to a bowl game. It's so hard. What a loser's mentality. Goodness.
That's not what makes a champion. That's what we say here on Red and Blue. See you back next week after football and basketball all across Planet Red and Planet Blue. The Red and Blue Review has been brought to you by the Winton Law Group, Doug Jones Home Improvements, the Bachman Auto Group, PNC Bank, Kentucky Corner, Sam Swope, SWAT Team Pest Control, Allstate Ford Truck Sales, the Ali Center, and Joe's OK By You.